worship. Our history is there and the rest can't change it. Schools don't teach it, seek it is sacred. Honor thy mother and father is the basics. Rise like you're supposed to slip out the matrix. Still dumbstruck thinking this is entertainment. Escape to reality, most lives I keep it raw.
The stone that was carved during the reign of the Ptolemies, and what it is
speak up slightly, please.
Okay, the Rosetta Stone is a stone that was created during the reign of the Ptolemies. That's during the Greek rule of Kemet. And so what you have is an inscription that is repeated in 3 different forms. Meta Nature, demonic, which is the cursive form of Meta Nature, and then Greek. So in other words, this is a document that they wanted folk to be able to read. They wanted Greeks to be able to read it, they wanted commoners to be able to read it, and they wanted the priests, the hierarchy, to be able to read it as well, which is why they inscribed it in three different forms, right? But it's basically talking about the king and his construction of this temple, which is what you find on all of the stela, all of the Tekenu and Kemet. The king would announce, I've just completed this new project, and is making a public declaration of his work, so folk would remember who he was, remember his legacy. So we still remembering this person now because this stone was found by one of Napoleon's generals in France when they were digging a foundation for a new fortress. They were digging a foundation in the city of Rosetta, hence they call it the Rosetta Stone. Right. And then this is what, so yes, the writing is small, because you got a lot of content to put in a small space. And the quality of the writing is not perfect because it was written by priests at the end of the Kemetic rule of Egypt. So the quality of the language, the quality of the syntax is not going to be as good as it was in the Middle Kingdom or the Late Kingdom. But it's all part of the same passing down the knowledge from generation to generation to generation. Because even when the Greeks, Ptolemy, when they took control of Kemet, they didn't know, they couldn't read Meta Nature. So they hired the priests who had been working in the temples for generations to now work for them. You know, and the priesthood always worked for the king. So what the Greeks understood very clearly is that in Kemet, as in most African nations, the bloodline is determined by the mother. What the Greeks did was marry African women so that their children would become legitimate heirs to the throne. So the king now has dominion over everything in Kemet. So the Greeks then became the legal heirs to the throne, so they now could command the priests to carve the Rosetta Stone, to build temples in order for them to record their legacy in Kemet.
So that's where it kind of got a lot more of the mixed race children.
Of course. I mean, that's where the miscegenation comes from. Yeah. And then what they do is they then and white folk are good at this. They'll come in, invade a region, impregnate the women, and then create a buffer zone between them and the indigenous inhabitants, right? So the British did that in the Caribbean, for example. British came in and they brought over the Indians to be that buffer zone, to be the merchants, so that they now had a greater sense of security, right, from the indigenous people. And this is a game, divide and conquer. I mean, the Romans were the ones who perfected that, and the English had inherited all of that from the Romans, man. Yeah. So if the strategy works, you know, why give it up? Yeah, it's effective. It's very effective. Shabaka stone is so significant. Take a picture of me in front of this. Shabaka stone is so significant because when Shabaka came into Kemet, he sent his priests. I'll wait to get closer.
I'll let you take your picture first.
So when Shabaka came into Kemet, he sent his priests, his architects, and his engineers all throughout Kemet to survey all the temples and monuments, to go into the libraries, to evaluate the text, the condition of the text, because his job was to rebuild everything, right? And his priests came back to him, and I have not seen, well, supposedly now, according to this, we took up residence in Menepha, and they never said, I've never read where this text was found, right? But the line here, they said the second line here reads, the worm-eaten scrolls of papyrus. So the scrolls in the library were not maintained. That's what the job was. They were written on papyrus, so papyrus only lasts for a finite period of time. And so the jobs of the scribes or the trainees in the temple was to copy these ancient scrolls, manually copy the scripts, which is where you get the term manuscript, right? Comes from. So it was their job to copy the scripts and put the new copies in the library so that they always have a fresh and accurate copy of these ancient texts. But the priest said that the scrolls were worm-eaten, which meant that they had not been copied, they had not been maintained. So Shabaka says, Shabaka issued an order for them to go into the library to copy the scrolls and to make them better than they were before, which means to edit the content and update the information so that, which implies that the Cushites had the original documents up south and they knew what was missing and they had them inscribe this information onto this stone. And so when you look at the stone now, you see it's got this square hole in the middle, you see it's got these scratches on it, and that's because the Arabs used this stone as a millstone, right? They didn't know what this was. They had no respect for this text or this ancient information because to these Arabs, this was haram, this was forbidden. So which means is further evidence of the fact that they are not the true descendants of this culture and civilization. They don't even know the text. They're invaders. They're latecomers. The Greek word for this structure is sarcophagus, right? Sarcophagus. The word sarcophagus means flesh eater. So from the Greeks' mindset, this is where the body was placed and your flesh was consumed, right? The Kemetic word for these structures is neb-ankh. Neb-ankh means Lord of Life. So this container was the vessel in which your soul was transformed. You became the Lord of Life in the afterlife. So just a simple understanding of these terms gives it an entirely different meaning. It helps you to begin to understand the mindset that the Africans who created it.
Oh yeah, my favorite guy. This one there, this general.
Yeah. Look at that profile.
The general. You know much about it?
No, I don't. 26th dynasty.
Yo, niggas make a little pay, now they feel they made it. Still rock chains and whips, still on a slave ship. Our history is there and the rest can't change it. Schools don't teach it, seek it is sacred. Honor thy mother and father is the basics. Rise like you're supposed to slip out the matrix. Still dumbstruck thinking this is entertainment. Escape to reality, most lives are wasted. Enough don't feel the same, that's why we're left grieving. Our resources stolen for street codes, we're bleeding. I'd rather die for freedom than live for bullshit. If you feel the same, holler at me, fam, and let's link. Many don't know the history, that's why their life's a mystery. If it ain't revolution, then it don't mean shit to me. All you seem to care about is gold chains and whips. We had that in abundance, locked in them slave ships. And before that, we had the whole globe in our grip. The belly of this song is the reason why we slipped. I'm a warrior like Hannibal, resurrect through my seed, the outcome's fanatical. Straight mathematical, sleepwalking, pure bullshit you're talking. Teach the next gen, see for them it's important, so they can break free from this degree of distraction. Bang on the beats, never lose your passion. Yo, niggas make a little pay, now they feel they made it. Still rock chains and whips, still on a slave ship. Our history is there and the rest can't change it. Schools don't teach it, seek it is sacred. Honor thy mother and father is the basics. Rise like you're supposed to slip out the matrix. Still dumbstruck thinking this is entertainment. Escape to reality, most lives are wasted.